The silver spacecraft descended through Earth's atmosphere with practiced caution. Inside, Chief Researcher Dr. Axel adjusted his protective suit for the third time, his pale blue fingers trembling slightly as he read the environmental readings on his display screen. "This can't be correct," he muttered, his large eyes blinking rapidly. "The gravity readings alone should make complex life impossible, let alone the atmospheric composition." His assistant, Officer Reed, looked equally concerned. "Sir, are you sure we should land? Category 5 Deathworlds are strictly observation only." Before Dr. Axel could respond, their sensors detected something that made both aliens freeze in shock. Radio signals, thousands of them. Complex, organized, and unmistakably artificial. "Impossible," Dr. Axel whispered. But the evidence was undeniable. This planet, this hellish world of crushing gravity and extreme temperature swings, somehow harbored intelligent life. The landing site they had chosen was a cleared area outside a settlement the locals called Denver. As their ship touched down, they were surprised to see a welcoming committee already waiting for them. The creatures, humans, according to their hastily updated database, stood straight and tall despite the planet's brutal gravity. James Miller, the lead diplomat chosen for this historic meeting, watched the alien ship land with a mix of excitement and curiosity. He had expected the aliens to be different, but nothing had prepared him for what emerged from the spacecraft. The aliens moved with visible effort, their environmental suits whirring as they compensated for Earth's gravity. They were tall, thin beings with large, expressive eyes and blue-tinted skin visible through their helmet visors. They moved like people walking against a strong wind, each step careful and measured. "Welcome to Earth," James said, speaking clearly into the universal translator they had been instructed to use. "We're honored to host the first official delegation from the Galactic Council." Dr. Axel's translator converted the words, but he was barely listening. His scientific mind was racing, trying to comprehend how these beings could not only survive but thrive in such conditions. The humans weren't even wearing environmental protection suits. "How?" Dr. Axel started, then composed himself. "Greetings. I am Dr. Axel, Chief Researcher of the Galactic Council's Xenobiology Division. We were not expecting to find intelligent life here." James smiled warmly. "Why is that, Doctor?" "We've been broadcasting signals into space for over a century. This planet," Dr. Axel gestured around with one four-fingered hand. "It's classified as a Category 5 death world. The conditions here are considered extremely hostile by galactic standards. The gravity alone should make complex organ systems impossible to maintain." The human delegation exchanged confused looks. To them, Earth was simply home, not some harsh, deadly environment. "Perhaps we could discuss this inside," James suggested, noticing how the aliens struggled to stand. "We've prepared a climate-controlled facility that might be more comfortable for you." As they walked toward the building, a sudden gust of wind nearly knocked Dr. Axel off his feet. A human quickly steadied him, the casual display of strength under such high gravity making the alien scientist blink in astonishment. Inside the facility, as the aliens gratefully adjusted their suits to compensate for the modified environment, Dr. Axel shared what would be the first of many revelations about humanity's unique place in the galaxy. "Most civilizations we know evolved on worlds with much lower gravity, stable temperatures, and minimal environmental hazards," he explained. "Your Earth, everything here should be lethal. The atmospheric pressure, the temperature variations, the diverse ecosystem of predators and parasites, the frequent natural disasters. It's unprecedented to find intelligent life evolving under such conditions." James listened with growing amazement. Everything they took for granted, their ability to endure different climates, to recover from injuries, to adapt to various environments, was apparently extraordinary by galactic standards. As the first meeting continued, neither humans nor aliens fully grasped how this moment would change the galaxy. The humans didn't yet understand that their normal was everyone else's impossible, and the aliens couldn't comprehend that their Deathworld had produced something remarkable, a species that didn't just survive adversity, but was shaped by it into something unique in the galaxy. The story of humanity's rise in the galactic community was about to begin, and it would start with a simple truth. What doesn't kill you really does make you stronger. 1 week after first contact, the aliens set up their research station in the Rocky Mountains. Dr. Axel stood at the reinforced window, watching a group of human children playing soccer in what he considered to be crushing gravity. His assistant, Officer Reed, worked nearby, analyzing data from their initial surveys. "Sir," Reed called out, his voice trembling. "You need to see these comparison charts." Dr. Axel moved to the holographic display, his environmental suit humming as it helped him move through Earth's heavy atmosphere. The screen showed a side-by-side comparison of different homeworlds across the galaxy. "Display Earth's statistics," Dr. Axel commanded. The numbers that appeared made both aliens step back in shock. Gravity, 2.3 times galactic average. Temperature range, -60 degrees Celsius to +50 degrees Celsius. Active tectonic plates, 15. Known predator species, 8,000 plus. Natural disasters per year, 500 plus. Toxic substances in common environment, 1,000 plus. How do they survive? Reed whispered. "Look at this. They experience temperatures that would freeze or boil most species, yet they just put on different clothes and continue their activities." Their conversation was interrupted by James Miller entering the room with 2 cups of coffee. The aliens watched in fascination as he casually handled the hot drink that would scald most alien species. "I brought you some data you requested about Earth's history," James said, placing a tablet on the desk. "Though I'm not sure why you're so interested in our weather patterns and natural disasters." Dr. Axel's large eyes blinked rapidly. "Mr. Miller, do you realize that humans regularly survive conditions that would kill most intelligent species in the galaxy? Take this building, for example. You built it on an active tectonic plate, in a region that experiences extreme temperature swings, at an altitude that should make breathing difficult." James shrugged. "That's just Denver. You should see some of our other cities." The casual response made Dr. Axel's recording device drop from his hands. James caught it reflexively before it hit the ground, his quick movement and strong grip causing both aliens to stare in wonder. "Your reaction times," Reed noted, "they're remarkably fast. And your muscle density. It must be incredible to move so easily in this gravity." Just then, the building shook slightly. James glanced at his phone. Just a small earthquake, about magnitude 3.0. Nothing to worry about. The aliens huddled under their reinforced desk while James continued sipping his coffee. When they emerged, Dr. Axel had a new understanding in his eyes. "You don't even realize it, do you?" he said softly. "Your species evolved on a planet that should have killed you 1,000,000 times over. Instead, it made you stronger." James listened as Dr. Axel explained how most alien species evolved on worlds with stable conditions. No sudden temperature changes, minimal gravity, few predators, and absolutely no tectonic activity. Their bodies never needed to adapt to extreme changes or threats. "But humans," Dr. Axel continued, excitement creeping into his voice, "you adapted to everything Earth threw at you. Your bodies can repair damage that would be fatal to other species. You can survive in conditions that range from Arctic to tropical. Your bones and muscles evolved to handle crushing gravity. Your digestive system can process foods that would poison most species." As if to demonstrate this point, they watched through the window as a human rescue team practiced mountain climbing in the snow. The aliens observed in amazement as the humans easily handled the cold, altitude, and physical strain. "We're beginning to understand," Reed added, "that what we classified as a death world is actually a forge. Earth didn't just allow life to survive. It created something unprecedented in the galaxy. a species that thrives on challenge and adapts to almost anything. James sat quietly, processing this information. Everything they took for granted, their ability to handle different climates, recover from injuries, adapt to new environments, was apparently extraordinary by galactic standards. So what does this mean for humanity's place in the galaxy? He finally asked. Dr. Axel's expression turned serious. It means, Mr. Miller, that the galaxy is about to discover something it never expected. A species that turns adversity into advantage. And I suspect that will change everything. The new Galactic Embassy in Colorado stood as a marvel of alien engineering. Its gleaming towers reached toward the sky, built with materials from a dozen worlds. The grand opening ceremony was about to begin, with diplomatic teams from 20 alien species gathering to celebrate Earth joining the galactic community. Captain Jack Porter of the Denver Fire Department stood at his assigned post, watching the aliens in their environmental suits move carefully through the building. Something about the structure bothered him. It was too rigid, too perfect. In his 20 years of rescue work, he'd learned that buildings needed to bend a little, especially in earthquake country. Dr. Axel was giving a speech about unity and cooperation when the first tremor hit. The seismographs later showed it as a 6.8 magnitude earthquake. For humans, it was serious but manageable. For the aliens, it was unprecedented disaster. The embassy's alien safety systems activated immediately, but they weren't designed for Earth's violence. The perfect, rigid walls began to crack. Support beams, made for much lower gravity, started to bend. Everyone out, Jack shouted, his training kicking in. But most of the aliens were frozen in panic, their environmental suits struggling to keep them upright as the ground shook. The human emergency teams sprang into action. While the aliens' sophisticated emergency protocols failed one by one, human firefighters and rescue workers charged into the trembling building. They moved with shocking speed and strength under conditions that left the aliens helpless. Jack carried 3 alien diplomats at once, their combined weight nothing compared to his usual rescue loads. Behind him, his team worked with practiced efficiency, breaking through doors and clearing paths through debris. In the main conference room, Dr. Axel watched in amazement as humans ran back and forth through falling debris, their bodies seeming to ignore the dangerous conditions. They worked in toxic dust without protective gear, lifted impossible weights, and somehow kept their balance on the shaking floor. The support structure is failing. Reed's voice crackled over the emergency channel. Our calculations show total collapse in 3 minutes. But the humans didn't retreat. Instead, they moved faster. Jack found the last group of aliens trapped in a lower level, their advanced technology useless in the face of Earth's raw power. The aliens' environmental suits were malfunctioning, leaving them barely able to move in Earth's gravity. "This is impossible," one alien diplomat wheezed as Jack easily lifted him. "The gravity. The air pressure. How are you doing this?" Jack didn't waste breath answering. He just ran, carrying 2 aliens while guiding 3 more. Behind them, chunks of ceiling crashed down, missing them only because of Jack's quick reflexes and strength. They cleared the building just as the eastern wing collapsed. In the end, every single person, human and alien, survived. As the dust settled, the aliens watched their hosts continue working, setting up emergency shelters and medical stations with calm efficiency. Later that evening, as human construction crews already began cleanup, the alien diplomats held an emergency meeting. "We severely underestimated them," one ambassador said. "Their emergency workers functioned perfectly in conditions that disabled all our safety systems." Dr. Axel nodded. "They didn't just survive the disaster. They thrived in it. While our people were paralyzed, they got stronger, more focused. Their bodies and minds are adapted for crisis in ways we never imagined possible." The alien leaders looked out at the humans still working in the darkness. They saw Captain Porter checking on his team. No signs of exhaustion despite hours of impossible physical feats. "Perhaps," another diplomat suggested, "we should rethink our approach to Earth. We viewed them as primitive because they come from a harsh world. But that harsh world has given them abilities we can barely comprehend. Dr. Axel watched as a human medic treated cuts and burns without flinching, handling injuries that would have hospitalized most alien species. Today taught us something crucial, he said. We've been pitying them for evolving on a death world, but their death world gave them something we lack: the ability to face any crisis and emerge stronger. The question isn't whether they can survive in our galaxy. It's whether our galaxy is ready for them. The embassy incident marked a turning point. Word spread quickly through the galactic community. The humans weren't just survivors of a harsh world. They were its masters. And that made them something unprecedented in the galaxy. A species that turned disasters into opportunities, crisis into strength. The space pirate Captain Black Eye stood on his bridge, watching the Earth transport ship through his view screen. His crew of raiders had attacked dozens of ships from different worlds, but this was their first human target. The transport looked slow and bulky, carrying supplies from Earth to the new human colony on Mars. They don't even have proper shield technology. Black Eye laughed, his scaled skin gleaming under the ship's lights. This will be easy prey. His second-in-command wasn't so sure. Captain, I heard stories about these humans. They come from a death world. Nonsense. Black Eye cut him off. Look how weak their ship is. No weapons, basic engines. They're probably soft creatures who rely on their machines. The pirate's ship, swift and well-armed, quickly caught up to the Earth transport. They fired a warning shot across its bow, following standard raiding procedure. Inside the transport ship, Marine Tom Walker received the alert from his captain. He and his small security team had been waiting for this moment. While most alien species would panic at the sight of pirates, Tom felt strangely calm. Remember, he told his team through the radio, they don't know about Earth's gravity. We're stronger than we look. The pirates docked with the transport ship, cutting through the airlock with plasma torches. They entered confidently, wearing advanced battle suits that made them look twice their normal size. Surrender your cargo, Black Eye announced through his translator. Do this peacefully, and no one gets hurt. The ship's corridors appeared empty. The pirates moved forward, their sensors detecting no resistance. Then the lights went out. What happened next would be told in space bars across the galaxy for years to come. The humans attacked from all directions, moving with shocking speed in the darkness. The pirates' advanced suits, designed for low-gravity combat, actually slowed them down in the Earth normal gravity that humans had maintained on their ship. Tom crashed into two pirates, his Earth-trained muscles easily overwhelming their hydraulic-assisted strength. The pirates' weapons, calibrated for weaker species, barely slowed the humans down. What are they? One pirate screamed as a human marine lifted him completely off the ground. Their strength isn't possible. Black Eye watched in horror as his crew's advantages disappeared one by one. The humans didn't seem to tire. They shrugged off stun blasts that would have knocked out any other species. They moved faster, hit harder, and fought quicker than any prey the pirates had ever hunted. Fall back, Black Eye ordered, but it was too late. Tom's team had already disabled the pirates' ship engines. They moved through both ships with practiced ease, while the pirates struggled just to stand up in the Earth normal gravity. Within 20 minutes, it was over. The entire pirate crew sat captured, their advanced technology defeated by simple human strength and speed. Their battle suits lay useless, some torn apart by bare human hands. I don't understand, Black Eye said later, as human authorities secured his crew. We had better weapons, better armor, better ships. How did you beat us so easily? Tom smiled as he checked the restraints on the pirates. You made a common mistake. You thought technology makes a species strong. But where we come from, survival depends on what's inside you. He tapped his chest. Earth gravity gave us dense muscles and strong bones. Earth's predators taught us to be alert and quick. Earth's diseases gave us powerful immune systems. Earth's wars taught us strategy. Everything that made our world deadly made us stronger. The pirate leader looked at his fallen crew, many still having trouble breathing in Earth gravity. The stories were true then, about humans being forged on a death world. "We don't call it a death world," Tom replied. "We call it home. And it taught us that the strongest weapons aren't the ones you carry. They're the ones you develop by facing challenges every day." News of the failed raid spread quickly through the galaxy. The story grew with each telling, how a small human security team had defeated a notorious pirate crew using nothing but their natural abilities. Many dismissed it as exaggeration until they saw the footage. In high-security prisons across the galaxy, captured pirates began spreading a new warning: never raid human ships. They look weak, but their death world has given them powers that no technology can match. The galaxy was learning, one incident at a time, that humans weren't just another spacefaring species. They were something new, creatures who had turned their harsh world's challenges into unprecedented strengths. Dr. Anna Smith stared at her microscope in the International Space Hospital, barely believing what she was seeing. Next to her, the alien medical expert Dr. Vix watched with all four of his eyes wide open. "This can't be right," Dr. Vix said, his tentacles twitching nervously. "Run the test again." They were examining tissue samples from a human construction worker who had survived a 40-foot fall the previous day. By alien standards, he should have been dead. Instead, he was already asking when he could return to work. "The results are the same as last time," Anna said, looking up from the microscope. "Human cells repair themselves at rates that your medical computers can't even measure properly." The discovery had started 3 months ago, when the first alien hospital wing opened on Earth. The aliens had brought their most advanced medical technology, expecting to help the poor humans who lived on such a dangerous world. Instead, they found themselves learning more than teaching. "Look at this comparison," Anna said, pulling up a holographic display. It showed healing rates from different species across the galaxy. The human sample glowed bright red, its recovery speed off the charts. "But it's not just our healing," she continued, switching to another display. "Our entire biology is different because of Earth's conditions." The screen showed a list that made Dr. Vix sink into his gravity chair. Bone density, 3x galactic average. Muscle fiber strength, 5x standard. Nerve signal speed, 2x normal. Cell repair rate, 8x expected. Immune system response, beyond measurable scale. Adrenaline boost capability, previously thought impossible. "Your bodies," Dr. Vix said slowly, "they're not just strong. They're in a constant state of readiness for disaster. You heal faster because your world never gave you a choice." Anna nodded, pulling up footage from the hospital's emergency room. They watched as human patients recovered from injuries that would have killed most alien species. A broken leg that should take months to heal was walking in weeks. A deep cut sealed itself visibly while they watched. "The most amazing thing," she said, "is our adaptive capability." She pointed to a new patient, a miner who had survived toxic gas exposure. "Our bodies don't just heal damage. They get stronger after surviving it." Dr. Vix moved his tentacles in a sign of amazement. "Like your muscles after exercise. You actually get stronger from things that should kill you." Just then, the emergency alarm sounded. A group of aliens had been injured when their environmental suits failed during a mountain hike. As the medical team rushed to help, Anna and Dr. Vix observed the fundamental difference in how their species handled trauma. The alien patients needed carefully controlled conditions and specific treatments, but the human medical staff moved quickly through changing temperatures and pressures, their bodies automatically adjusting to each new challenge. "There's something else," Anna said, showing Dr. Vix a brain scan comparison. "Look at how our stress response works. When other species panic, they shut down. When humans face danger, you become enhanced." Dr. Vix finished, understanding dawning in all four eyes. "Your heart rate increases, your strength grows, your senses sharpen. Even your pain tolerance rises. Evolution gave you emergency systems that we never developed. As they worked to treat the injured aliens, Anna explained how Earth's constant dangers had shaped human biology. Their bones were dense because of the gravity. Their muscles were strong from constant physical challenges. Their immune systems were robust from fighting countless diseases. Even their digestive systems could handle foods that would poison other species. "It's not just about surviving," she said, watching the human medical team work tirelessly through their 12th hour. "Earth taught us to thrive under pressure. Each challenge we survived made us better prepared for the next one." Dr. Vix made a decision then. He sent an urgent message to the Galactic Medical Council. Human biology represents a medical revolution. Their adaptive capabilities could transform treatment across the galaxy. Recommend immediate research partnership. The message would spark a new chapter in galactic medicine. Hospitals across the stars began studying human healing factors. Treatments that seemed impossible became routine as doctors learned from humanity's biological adaptations. Earth's status was changing. What was once seen as a deadly backwater was becoming recognized as the source of the galaxy's most remarkable medical breakthroughs. The Deathworld had produced not just survivors, but teachers who could show the galaxy new ways to heal, adapt, and grow stronger. Explorer Mark Reed stood at the window of the galactic exploration vessel Starseeker, watching the storm-covered planet below. The ship's alien crew had declared the planet impossible to explore. Its gravity was too strong, its atmosphere too toxic, its storms too violent. Mark smiled. It reminded him of home. "You can't be serious about going down there," Captain Trix said, his crystalline body shimmering with concern. "The conditions are beyond safe limits." "By whose standards?" Mark asked, checking his basic environment suit. "Those storms are weaker than Earth's hurricanes. The gravity is only slightly stronger than what I grew up in." 1 year had passed since humans joined the Galactic Exploration Fleet. In that time, they had changed everything about deep space exploration. Planets that were once considered too dangerous to visit were now being mapped and studied, thanks to the humans' natural abilities. "The first team is ready." Mark's radio crackled. His human crew waited in the shuttle bay, eager to explore. Unlike the alien explorers who needed complex environmental suits and support systems, the humans could work with minimal protection. Captain Trix watched in amazement as the human team prepared for descent. Their equipment was simple by galactic standards. Basic pressure suits, hand tools, and emergency supplies. The aliens needed walking machines just to move in such gravity. "Remember when you thought Earth was an impossible world?" Mark asked the captain. "Now you're finding out there are thousands of planets like it. The galaxy just needed the right species to explore them." The shuttle launched into the storm. While alien crew members monitored from orbit, the humans dove straight into conditions that their bodies were perfectly adapted to handle. On the surface, Mark led his team through howling winds and acid rain. Their Earth-evolved bodies easily handled the pressure and gravity. What seemed like deadly conditions to other species felt almost familiar. "Found something," called out Linda, their geologist. She pointed to strange crystal formations rising from the ground. "Life signs. These crystals are growing." The discovery was revolutionary. A planet that other explorers couldn't even visit had complex crystal-based life forms. It was just the latest in a string of discoveries that only humans could make. Back on the ship, the alien scientists gathered around the samples the humans brought back. "This is incredible," one researcher said. "There could be thousands of worlds like this, full of life we never thought possible." Mark looked at the ship's star map, now marked with hundreds of newly explored planets. Before humans joined the fleet, these worlds were marked in red as too dangerous to explore. Now they were filled with discoveries. "Your species has done more exploration in 1 year than we managed in a century," Captain Trix admitted. "We were so focused on finding worlds like our own that we ignored everything else." The humans had brought something new to space exploration: the ability to treat harsh conditions as normal. Where other species saw impossible challenges, humans saw opportunities. A month later, at the Galactic Exploration Conference, Mark presented their findings. The hall was filled with representatives from dozens of species, all amazed by what humans had achieved. "These are just our first discoveries," Mark explained, showing images from worlds no other species had walked on. "Think about it. For millions of years, you've been looking for life in places that felt safe and comfortable to you. But life doesn't just evolve in comfortable places. Earth taught us that." He showed a map of newly discovered life forms, creatures that thrived in acid storms, crystal beings that grew in crushing gravity, plants that ate radiation, all found on worlds that only humans could explore. "We're not just exploring space," Mark concluded. "We're showing you a whole new galaxy, one where impossible just means you haven't evolved to handle it yet." After the conference, the Galactic Council made a historic decision. Every exploration fleet would now include human crew members. Worlds once considered too dangerous to approach were reclassified as human priority exploration zones. The galaxy was changing. The species from Earth, once pitied for their harsh homeworld, were now leading the greatest age of discovery the galaxy had ever seen. Their curse of evolving on a death world had become their greatest gift to galactic civilization. As Mark prepared for his next mission, he looked at a picture of Earth hanging in his cabin. "Thanks for making us strong," he whispered to his homeworld. "The galaxy needed us, even if it didn't know it." 10 years after first contact, the Galactic Council held a special ceremony on Earth. Representatives from over 1,000 worlds gathered in the new Earth Diplomatic Center, built to withstand everything from earthquakes to meteor strikes. The building itself was a symbol of how humanity had changed the galaxy. Dr. Axel, now the head of human studies at the Galactic Science Academy, stood at the podium. He looked very different from the nervous alien who had first landed on Earth a decade ago. His environmental suit was lighter, designed with human engineering to work better in Earth's gravity. 10 years ago, he began, "We thought we had found a primitive species trapped on a deadly world. We were wrong. We had found teachers." The Great Hall was filled with both aliens and humans. On display screens, achievements from the past decade scrolled past. 500 previously impossible planets explored. 300 new medical treatments based on human biology. 1,000 emergency response teams trained by humans. 50 space pirate groups defeated by human security. Countless lives saved by human crisis response methods. James Miller, now Earth's chief ambassador, watched from his seat, remembering that first meeting when the aliens had been shocked just to find life on Earth. Now they came to Earth to learn. "The greatest mistake we made," Dr. Axel continued, "was thinking that harsh conditions make weak species. Earth taught us the opposite. Challenge breeds strength. Adversity creates adaptation. Difficulty spawns innovation." In the audience, Captain Tom Walker sat with his space security team. They had just returned from protecting ships in what was once pirate-controlled space. Next to them, Dr. Anna Smith's medical team showcased their latest healing techniques, now used in hospitals across the galaxy. Mark Reed and his exploration team had their own section, fresh from discovering life on 3 more impossible worlds. Their work had rewritten the galaxy's understanding of where life could exist. But it wasn't just physical strength that Earth gave humanity, Dr. Axel said. It was something more important, the ability to face any challenge without fear. When we run from danger, humans run toward it. When we see impossible odds, humans see opportunities. The screens showed footage that had become famous across the galaxy. Humans rushing into burning buildings to save alien diplomats. Human doctors working tirelessly in disaster zones. Human explorers walking on worlds others feared to visit. Human engineers solving problems others thought impossible. "We came to Earth thinking we would find victims of a harsh world," Dr. Axel continued. "Instead, we found heroes forged by it. Every challenge Earth presented, humans overcame. Every barrier it created, humans broke through. Every threat it posed, humans adapted to. In the decades since first contact, Earth had become the galaxy's center for special training. Alien emergency responders came to learn human rescue techniques. Alien doctors studied human healing abilities. Alien explorers trained under human guidance. Today, Dr. Axel announced, the Galactic Council has made a historic decision. Earth is no longer classified as a death world. It is now designated as the galaxy's first Forge world, a planet that creates strength through adversity. The audience erupted in applause. The new classification wasn't just a name change. It was recognition that difficult conditions could produce extraordinary capabilities. James stepped up to the podium next. 10 years ago, we learned we were different from the rest of the galaxy. Today, we know that difference is our strength. Earth didn't just make us strong. It taught us to help others become strong too. The ceremony ended with the opening of the new Galactic Training Academy in Colorado. Built to Earth specifications, it would teach other species how to handle harsh conditions, how to face challenges, how to become stronger. As the crowds mingled afterward, Dr. Axel found James at the reception. "Did you ever imagine," the alien scientist asked, "that your death world would become the galaxy's greatest training ground?" James looked out at the mixture of species, all learning from each other. "Earth taught us that power isn't about having an easy life," he said. "It's about learning to handle a difficult one. That's what we can teach the galaxy." Outside the windows, Earth's weather provided a perfect demonstration. A thunderstorm rolled across the mountains, beautiful and dangerous, just like the planet that had forged humanity into something extraordinary. The respect humans had earned wasn't based on conquest or technology. It was based on something far more valuable. The lesson that challenges don't break you. They build you. Earth hadn't cursed humanity. It had prepared them to help guide the galaxy into a stronger future.